Hold up in that car wash, gentlemen.
Rob Kibbe.
Don't tell me. You're from outer space.
No, I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space.
Mike Finnegan.
Go that way, really fast. If something gets in your way, turn.
Two guys talking cars.
I am a semi-professional race car driver and an amateur tattoo artist.
Taking on the most serious topics.
But we will give nothing back to the academic community, as well as provide no public service of any kind. This much I promise you.
And the Dukes of Hazzard. On iTunes, Stitcher, and whatever else it is you listen on. The Kibbe and Finnegan Show.
Kibbe and Finnegan Show for like one episode longer, episode number 95, available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play, Instagram, YouTube, and everywhere else you can imagine. I am here with you are the new co-host, but are you still the temp fill-in till January 1st, or is that we're trying to be legalistic about this, I guess?
I'm on my probation period.
Oh, yeah. An evaluation period, a stepping stone.
Right.
I have been working on our new show intro.
Okay.
I have it kind of scripted out in my head. The way that I did the last one, I scripted it out and I changed it a number of times, but you have an announcer. We'll get the same announcer. He's amazing. He's a guy that I was introduced to through Bernie McPartland. I've never actually seen him before. He wakes up in his jammies. He puts on his slippers, and he goes and does radio stuff all day for somebody out of his house.
In his jammies.
Yeah. And he can sound like, a theatrical guy. He can sound like somebody who would be on a more classical station. He can be hardcore rock. He can do it all. And he's got a bunch of different flavors. So he probably did 3 versions of the last one until we got the voice we liked. Then I wrote out the script and then gave Bernie all the edits of the movie clips that I liked.
Right.
Choosing the right movie clip, Corn Dog, is crucial. And it's so hard because after each person is announced, you have to have a movie clip that's maybe 3 seconds. It has to be hilarious and very appropriate to whoever the person it is referring to. And I got me covered, and I have Bernie covered. I did a nice job on Bernie. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. I am struggling mightily with you. I have 24 options. That
24.
I have whittled it down.
You narrowed it down to 24.
Over the next few hours, I will be cranking through these, trying to get to one. I think I asked you in the last one, but is there any non-Dukes of Hazzard favorite movie you have?
I do, and I have my car list here, so I don't know if you want to go into that, but...
Well, we're going to do that later.
Yeah.
But do you have, in your top 3 movies of all time that you would watch every day and doesn't ever get old, do you have one? I'm going to choose something for you on my own. But if you have a preference, this is your time to let me know.
Well, maybe after we do my top 5 list, then that may help narrow it down some.
Okay.
For you.
That is fair. That is no problem. For those of you who are Patreon supporters, this will be the first month that our Patreon show is Corn Dog. We're sending out a little Patreon care package. First time we've ever done this. It lines up with the transition of hosts here. And it also lines up with Christmas time. And that's all headed out, actually, I think today as we record this. I have some helpers at my house putting stuff together. It's not that crazy. It'll come in an envelope. We do have some going overseas, which is always kind of neat when you see that.
Wow.
And then if you want one of the old school Kibbe and Finnegan shirts, now is your time to get them. At the end of the year, we'll go ahead and shut them off. I don't know how to offer those again. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Because we have to do the new logo and the Corn Dogs deep dive, obviously. So KF show.
But the other ones will be collector items.
Yeah, that's right. This is your time to get them. I only have one, and I bought it myself.
Yeah, I've got the one that I bought. It was the black with the orange writing.
Yes, I have the same shirt, but mine is blue. So, Christmas time. Are you done shopping? Are you ready for Christmas?
I am completely done. I'm ready for Christmas to get here. But most of all, I'm ready to stop having to be here and there and everywhere. And I'm ready for a weekend where I can just chill out and do stuff at the house.
Yeah.
And out in my shop. Because I have not stepped foot in my shop other than, to get Christmas presents or whatever. And just a little bit here and there. But haven't had much time to get car work done. So I'm looking forward to that.
Are you off from like Christmas to New Year's?
No, I wish.
Oh.
I'm taking Monday and Tuesday off.
Oh, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then
Yes.
back to work the rest of the week. What about
Right.
New Year's Eve, New Year's Day?
Just New Year's Day, I'll be off.
Do you get hours for vacation? How does your vacation accrue?
Yeah, that's how we're here 9 hours a day, but for whatever reason, he pays us for 8. So on holidays, it's probably like you get what I give you or you don't get anything at all, because I know holiday pay is kind of a privilege anyway, so it works out okay, I guess.
How many hours of vacation do you get a year, though?
Well, at my work, I think it's after the first year you get a week off, and then after 5 years you get 2 weeks off.
You're on the 2-year plan then, or the 2-week plan.
Yeah, I've been here since 2002, so we've got a guy in here that he's been working with the shop since 71, I think.
Wow.
And he gets 2 weeks.
Well, that sucks for him.
No more. Yeah.
Well, we are going to do our Christmas movie review today, and we won't do that right this second, but this was a fun one for me to revisit because it has 2 of our favorite actors ever in it, John Schneider and Tom Wopat, with Christmas Comes to Willow Creek, which you fell asleep in.
Twice.
Don't want to spoil it, but it's not a good movie. We'll get to that later.
It is if you like Hallmark movies, like on the lower grade that never gets aired. And that's right about where it's at.
I do have a secret like for Hallmark movies.
I know.
We have the Hallmark channel on. I have seen most of the new ones for 2018 already. Not your
This
thing?
would be like Hallmark Channel at 2 a.m. in the morning. That's about where it ranks, I think.
I know it's not good. But DJ Tanner from Fuller House is in most of them. But she's all grown up. Yeah.
Yeah. She's probably part owner in it.
Yeah, I would assume so. But so what did you, I'm not sure when this show airs. What did you get your wife?
She wanted some, I forget the name of them, but they're like some kind of rain boots that she wanted, and she had them all picked out and everything online. And so I got those, and up close to where her parents live, there's a boutique type store that she loves going in, and they have online shopping. And anyway, she loves that store, so I got a gift certificate to that place and the shoes. We usually don't get each other a whole lot for Christmas, you know?
Sounds pretty subdued. It is difficult, especially when you're an adult. If you need something, you're just going to buy it at some point.
Right.
And if you have kids, it's more about featuring them or thinking about what they would like.
Right.
And nobody's kids even listen. They have everything they need to. They don't need anything.
Yeah.
So,
and that's usually how it is. If I need something, I'll just go get it. But also, too, is like if it's a big tool or something that's, that costs a little bit more, then I hate to ask for that as a gift. And I'll have a specific model or whatever, brand or whatever that I want picked out. And then, sometimes if you steer off of that brand or whatever, then you get a cheaper model and it just doesn't work out as good. So I hate asking for specific tools. But she did get me, I asked for a shop vac, and I had a specific one picked out, and that's what she got me. So we've already exchanged. Well, no, she has another gift for me, and I've still got the gift card. I haven't given her the gift card yet. But so anyways, we kind of did it halfway. She needed the boots at the time, and so I went on and gave her those, and she gave me the shop vac.
Did the shop vac and boots exchange, is that what inspired your Al and Peg Bundy Christmas card? Whatever that was.
That was for our Sunday school group. They have a Christmas party every year, and every year it's a different theme. And this year it was 80s theme, either an 80s character, 80s dress, like trends. So we decided, really, I had to persuade her because she didn't want to do it at first, but I said, let's go as Peggy and Al Bundy. And so she went along with it, and she ended up getting best dressed. So they have little awards not awards, but little gifts that they'll give away for the party. Surprisingly, there was another Peggy and Al Bundy there.
What?
Yeah. The other one, I wore his jersey that he always wore that says Polk number 33, and 4 touchdowns in a single game. That was his favorite quote.
I played high school football.
Yeah. And so the other guy, he dressed up as I just got home from work, Al. So he had the shirt all untucked and hanging out, and the necktie was loosened up, and he just looked like a slouch.
So when he sat on the couch, did he put his hand in his pants?
I didn't see him do it, but we all posed for pictures and stuff, and a couple of the pictures, he'd stuck his hand in his pants. So that's just something we do every year, so that was fun.
Well, good for you. One thing that did strike me a little, not odd, but out of character for your standard uniform is you were not wearing a ball cap. When I saw that picture, I realized almost, I would say 99% of the time you're wearing a ball cap. It's not that you don't look nice without a ball cap, but it just doesn't fit the like David Freiberger, for example, when he doesn't wear a hat. I mean, he's mostly bald, and I'm
balding too.
I am too, but I'm just letting it fly, I guess. I don't know. But when you see somebody that you don't expect to be bald, like whenever he takes his hat off, it is kind of odd, just because that's not how he normally dresses.
Yeah.
But to see you without a hat and normal hair is weird. So I'm not sure. It's not a slam on you. I'm just trying to.
Well, a lot of times here I'm at work, so a lot of times I'll wear a hat at work because it's just you're in and out of cars and you're up and down, and if you try to keep a certain hairstyle, you're not going to do it at the body shop. So it's easier just to put a hat on and rock that for the day.
Do you shower before you go to work?
I usually shower at night.
You shower.
Go to bed clean.
I know several people that wear a hat because they don't shower. And that's how they groom their noggin, I guess. But
sometimes in the summer too, I'll take one in the morning, take one at night, and if I'm in and out throughout the day, I'll take one during the day.
Really?
I just don't. Yeah.
Because
a lot of times if I'm outside, it's hot and humid, and you're going to sweat, and so sometimes during the summer you'll go through 2 or 3 shirts in a day. And also it's kind of during the middle of the day, my wife will say, I've been working all day, and my wife will say, hey, let's go get something to eat. And so, of course, I've got to change and get cleaned up. So, and then change again when I get home so I can go right back out there and do whatever it was I was doing.
Well, I do appreciate you going to your shop at least once. Or maybe you didn't. I never know. You sent me a picture that I needed. I got my new door panels. I got my new interior kit for my generally, and it's not as dark as I thought it was going to be. It definitely matches. It's what I ordered. It'll probably look even darker in the car. But my question was, what do I put behind the door panels? Is there plastic or a sound deadener or something? And you said, no, it's just basically a sheet of plastic. And then you sent me a picture of how it looks.
I happened to actually be out in the shop that day. So I've been trying to rearrange and organize a little bit when I can get out there. So sometimes during the week, I'm actually able to get out there. And on the weekends, I can't ever get out there. So I wish it was the other way around. But yeah, I just happened to be over there, and I snapped a picture of a door that I had, and you can kind of see the visqueen. It's basically what I call it. It's pretty much what it is. And so it's normally just taped along the top and sometimes down at the bottom. And I don't know if you looked at your door, if you had a chance to or not, but down at the bottom of the door, there's like a louver. And so the plastic will cover that and just kind of tuck into the louver at the bottom.
I haven't even had the door panels off of it. The only time I haven't seen the car for like 3 weeks. I took it out Saturday to video myself to do a giveaway for a Silver Sport transmission controller, which by the time you hear this is over. That is so hard. I will give everybody credit for that. I probably did 50 takes to get one good one. And I didn't have a script, nothing. I was trying to just do it off the top of my head. That's very hard. And then for fun and to have something to promo, I had my son video me doing a burnout. And it wasn't even a really good burnout. I mean, I just lit the tires up and then got going.
Right.
But the interior will go in that car. I'm excited to see what the interior will look like once it's in there.
Especially with that little bit darker tan. I'm anxious to see that too.
I just want it to be dark, season 2.
Yeah.
And then we just got to get the push bar nailed down. And Nathan Warren at Warren Customs, where the car is going to get the paint work done, he has a template. He has made one, which he can send you. And when I take the car there, I think we're just going to mock it up right there out of cardboard or something and see what it looks like. But do you have any measurements in addition to his to go by? Because we even looked at one yesterday. It was a close, but not quite.
Right. I don't have any specific measurements, and I definitely don't have anything on me right now. But what I've been making up on my template, the only thing I need to do is I need to change just a little bit on the top bar and bring it down just a little bit. And then I think it'll pretty much be right where it needs to be. But I've been basically doing it all by sight. And I've got some measurements. I don't know what they are right off the top of my head, though. But I'll print up a picture if I can get a good straight-on screenshot of the push bar that you want. then you can scale it and figure out a scale, and then do some math and come up with a measurement that will give you an actual 1-to-1 scale of what you need.
Well, all of these things are what I'm going to be doing over the Christmas break. My hope here is on January 2nd, I'm going to load the car up, interior up, and head down to his place.
Okay, that would be good.
Sometimes my plans fail, but that's my plan.
At least you have something nailed down as far as like some kind of game plan.
I do. Okay, we are going to do a Burning segment.
Okay.
And then we're going to do another segment called Corn Dog's Car Movies, but we'll get to that in a second. And Bernie was going to be on today, but he overruled us and sent in a Burning Birdie instead. Oh. And usually I try to at least listen to some of these before I run them. I have no idea what's in any of them.
This should be interesting.
Okay, here we go. Bernie number 1.
It's Burning Questions with Bernie, setting game shows around the country on their ear with the clever compilations of complex questions that we deal with here all the time. If you've got a question, send it by email, care of Robert at themusclecarplace.com, and somebody will answer eventually. Well, first, some fascinating and serious news. Now, I didn't take astronomy, but this is still very cool. Did you hear that now both of the Voyager spacecrafts have entered into what they call interstellar space? Now, that puts both spacecraft launched back in the 70s more than 11 billion with a B miles away from Earth. Here's a fun fact. They're still transmitting data back to Earth. That's cool. Fun fact number 2. Your cell phone, Rob, has more than 200 times the processing power than the computers on board of those spacecrafts. It's incredible. Corn Dog, maybe not so much. Since you like the older phones, maybe yours is only maybe 10 times more of the processing power. But still a win. Now, the movie tie-in. Now, in Star Trek, the motion picture, what name was the alien spacecraft called? Remember, they went on this mission and they found this alien spacecraft that was taking over everything. What was the name of that spacecraft?
Oh, I know this. I know it, hands down.
I don't.
This is easy. I can tell you this. There is even a Dukes of Hazzard kind of tie-in in here somewhere.
I think I remember you mentioning this. I will go on and say I know nothing about Star Trek. Nothing at all.
Well, Dukes of Hazzard connection aside, there's a Star Trek connection in later. So in this one, I forget the name of the actor, but his name is Captain Decker. And he's supposed to be the new captain of the Enterprise because Captain Kirk is gone. He's now Admiral Kirk, and he's like flying a desk somewhere. But because of this interstellar galactic problem, Captain Kirk, or Admiral Kirk, is to become Captain Kirk again, and he's back to run the Enterprise. But the Enterprise has been all gutted and like restored and is made new. And they got to go track down the thing at the center of this space cloud that is killing every planet, every ship, every person that it sees. And the name of it is Voyager. And Voyager is a shortened up name that's on the side of this space radio machine, which is actually Voyager 6. It is a space satellite from Earth from 1970 that was sent out into space, and it collected so much data that it became self-aware, built a space cloud around itself, and flew itself back to Earth to meet its creator. And the creator in this case was eventually Captain Decker, and he joined with it and became a new type of life force. And that same actor in the TV show, oh geez, what's the one? Man, I'll think about it. It's like kind of a sappy TV show about good family vibes. Anyway, Gillian Anderson is his wife in it, and she's the person in Star Trek 4. That was the answer, Voyager.
That went way over my head.
Okay, I apologize. We'll get to number 2.
Next, well, it's Christmas, and I want to say a thank you to a certain someone for the gift package that I got in the mail the other day. The gift was from one of our very loyal sponsors, Me Undies. Good stuff. Some deadly soft pantalones and a matching sleep shirt. Very, very nice. Now, the package was mailed from, well, Rob, I was very surprised humbled and impressed that you thought I deserved such a great gift. It's really cool. I can't say it was only matched by the confused and awkward tension in the room when my wife found out that another guy had sent me some pajamas. Well, we're still working through that one, but making progress, and if I'm right, very soft and comfy items may end up in the missus' closet for a short-term loaner program. But again, many thanks. And the boys, thank you too. Finally, another burning question for Corn Dog. All right, bud. In the posted pictures of you and Rob, dude, you look pretty stout. So here's the question. In an arm wrestling match between you two, do you think you could take him?
I have no clue. I would like to think so, yes.
You do look pretty jacked.
I don't.
Do you work out?
I don't work out or anything, no. Not since the 10th grade.
I do work out, but it's more to not put on weight than and stay in good cardio health than to
I should probably do that. I used to run all the time. I used to work all day here at the shop, and then I'd leave and go back to my apartment, change, and then I'd go run anywhere from 5 to 10 miles
at a
local park. Yeah, 3 or 4 times a week, and it got to where it was killing my knees and my shins. I was getting real bad shin splints, and so I pretty much had to stop doing that. And so I don't even run anymore. But I used to run all the time. I never got into the whole working out at the gym and all that kind of stuff. I always just ran.
Your buff physique, is that from your high school football days? Just kept it the whole time?
No, I never really got just really built or anything. So I played football, and that we had a weightlifting class, and I didn't even care to do that, to be honest.
The only thing on my whole body that's ripped, it probably still is forearms. Because when I was a college drummer, you just got like monstrous rocking forearms. My wife has still told me, like, yeah, that's one of the reasons I noticed you. Saw those forearms. If you look above the forearms, it's normal. But underneath, it's pretty awesome.
Well, back in the 6th grade, I joined the band for 1 year, and I played drums. I'm no good at it. But anyways, I played snare. And I know exactly what you're talking about, because your forearm will get a massive workout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I couldn't imagine doing like a marching band or anything like that. I couldn't imagine that. So.
The heads that we used back in the day were a pure Kevlar head, and you had to hit it pretty hard. And then you're also trying to play technically well. And I think today it's a Kevlar Mylar weave, so it's a little softer and a little easier on the body. Nobody chooses a drum head based on what it feels like for you. It's almost exclusive of what it's just going to sound like.
Right.
The gift he was referring to, I got a second pair of MeUndies jammy pants.
Yeah.
I did try his on just to see what they're like, but totally clean. And
so now he knows he owns a pair of used pajama pants.
Pre-evaluated. Let's say it that way. Okay, your last one here.
Well, we'll see. Remember to send your stuff to Burning Questions with Bernie, care of Robert at themusclecarplace.com. And remember, without you, well, it's really hard to spell words like mud, or stuff, or U-joint, or Eunice, or even ukulele.
Can't wait till he's on live. That will be a good time. I got him a shirt. It was either yours or mine. I owe one of us a shirt. It was the kind of limited edition one that Mark Bradley had made up. It was a Cooter one. It said "Take It Easy."
Yes, I remember those.
Yeah, those red ones there. That's a cool shirt. I hope Mark makes more of those. Maybe he has, but that's a neat run of shirts. But okay, let's do another Corn Dogs Deep Dive segment. And in our last episode, we got the full rundown on who you are, your Mopar cred, your Dukes cred, your OCD level of qualifications. You passed with flying colors. I have got feedback. Everybody said, hey, Corn Dog seems real. Mark Warman even called me to see if he could hire you. And I said, you don't work here. I also said, there's no way I'm losing 2 co-hosts in 1 month. No.
Give me a month or 2.
No, but it really went well. So here's your final review to the world of your qualifications to do this. So I got this idea last year. I went on the radio station here that I listen to kind of make the format of this type of show. And they had me do a movie car list. And it was like my top 5 list of movie cars or TV cars or car chases or something like that. So this is something you put together, and I think you have 2 lists. Is that right? 2 different lists?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is the first list? Is this your 5 favorite car movies or your 5 preferred car movies? Or
Well, you told me to make 2 lists. You told me my personal top 5 car movies.
Yeah.
And then the other list was, in my opinion, the top 5 car movies. Not necessarily my favorite, but just what I figure to be the top 5.
Yeah, from the world's perspective. But your favorites are the more important.
I think you said most iconic movies is what you... So I'll start with that one. That one wasn't as tough, but my personal top 5 was a little bit tough. For the top 5 most iconic car movies, in my opinion, I have number 5, I have the 2000 version of Gone in 60 Seconds.
And how are you qualifying what you think are just the most iconic from basically everybody's perspective in the whole world?
I'm probably figuring based off of, after this movie aired, it had a big cult following. It may have started a trend as far as a specific car. Like, for example, on this one, you've got the Eleanor, the typical 67 or 8. Most people use 8s, fastback Mustang. And if you think about how many of those that you see that are built replicas, there's quite a few. But, prior to that, that wasn't really that big of a trend. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. But, you don't hear people talking about the old 74 Gone in 60 Seconds. You don't see people building 71, I think it was Mach 1 Mustangs.
Yeah. You're qualifying this maybe on the impact it had on car people to want to have a car like that? Or is that one of the ways? Because you could do it straight off a box office, I suppose. But
and that's basically as far as iconic car movies. The next one I had was Fast and the Furious, the first one. You look, what are they, 8 or 9?
Yeah, I think we've had 8. No, 7.
So,
maybe. Who knows?
I know at least 8. That was in 2001. To this day, they're still making Fast and the Furious movies. And so for the import guys, that was huge because back in 2001, that was the biggest trend. Maybe not the biggest trend, but it was pretty hot and heavy in 2001 with the little import cars. And then, of course, you got the Charger. My personal favorite was the original Charger from the first Fast and the Furious. Each Fast and the Furious movie, they've come out with a new Charger and new design and all that. I still like the original one with the old little 15-inch wheels with the blower hanging out. And, I like that style the best.
The only reason I even saw the first one is because the Charger was in it.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say, if it weren't for that car, I would have never seen that movie. I just had no interest in it at all. As they've progressed and gotten newer and more muscle cars have come in, and really, if you walk around last year's SEMA show, you've seen next year's Fast and Furious cars. I mean, sometimes go right to the owner and say, I would like that car in the movie. I know of 5 in particular that would fit that bill. And then sometimes they clone them, like David Freiberger's F-Bomb.
Right.
His real one was never in there, but that was cloned.
I think Steve Strope's 70 Roadrunner, the Hammer, I think it was.
Yeah, that's in the end of the Tokyo Drift one.
Yeah, I've never seen Tokyo Drift.
You would like it because the same 2 guys that do the drifting in the Dukes of Hazzard movie, Tanner Faust and who's the other stunt driver? Rice Millen. They are the 2 stunt drivers in Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
Drifting the Mustang and I think it's a Nissan.
Yeah. So, and I know the thing about the Fast and the Furious story, you've got to watch them out of order. I think it's part 1, 2, and then you got to go back and watch 5, and then 4 and 3 or something like that. You got to watch them in a certain order.
It turns out that Tokyo Drift is almost new. It's set, I think, after Paul Walker dies. It doesn't matter. So number 4, you're saying is Fast and the Furious. Okay. Yeah. What do you got for number 3?
Number 3, I've got the whole Back to the Future line. Yeah. Because, you got DeLoreans. Really more so the DeLorean than anything. I mean, I love Biff's 46 Ford.
46 Ford, yeah.
I love that car. But really and truly, the DeLorean, prior to the Back to the Future, you knew DeLorean is basically a flop of a company and a turd of a car.
Yeah.
After 1985, Back to the Future, I know DeLorean prices probably skyrocketed after that.
The whole DeLorean Motor Company today would not exist. There's no question that movie made that car famous. and also the fact that the company died. There's no different shaped DeLorean than the one you see on the screen. There isn't like a 69 Charger. Well, there's also a 2019 Charger to compare it to.
Yeah.
That's not the case with
A
the DeLorean.
DeLorean is a DeLorean.
Yeah, really. Yeah. So that's a good example. Okay, so that's number 3.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what number 2 is.
Number 2 I have is Bullet, 1968 Bullet.
I'm going to need to know what number 1 is. But what?
The reason I have number 2 at Bullet is because, of course, you've got the iconic 68 Charger RT, but more so, of course, it's a Steve McQueen movie, and anything Steve McQueen touches is gold. And you even have Ford Motor Company making special edition Bullet Mustangs to this day. So
good point.
I mean, to me,
really
that kind of makes a big impact. To be honest with you, I've never even seen Bullet from start to end. I always just go straight to the car chase.
Me too. I've seen nothing but the car chase. I don't even know what it's about. Yeah.
I have that at number 2, and my number 1 most iconic car movie I have is Smokey and the Bandit.
I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Black Trans Am. You can't even say Black Trans Am without thinking. You don't think Knight Rider. You think Smokey and the Bandit.
There's no question. And that movie, even though it's a Southern movie, I know the most liberal of people who love that movie and would kill for a Black Trans Am.
Oh, yeah. Everybody who's into truck driving, or, I don't know, it's a perfect era for all of that, because you've got truck driving, you've got CB talk, you've got corrupt officials, county officials. I mean, it's just kind of, and then you've got the Black Trans Am, and that's the, you think CB talk, all that, you think Smokey and the Bandit.
No doubt about it. Smokey and the Bandit 2 was not a bad movie. There's no car movie that could really top that one. At least in my opinion, it's a time capsule. You couldn't make that movie today. It wouldn't be good.
No.
It's only good then. I don't know, Trans Ams and Charger, they just seem tougher. Like you would never jump a 2019 Corvette. That wouldn't even be fun.
Plastic will go everywhere.
Yeah, there's nothing interesting about that. But I don't know if I agree with all the choices, but I like where you ended.
Well, my biggest thing was I just wanted to do just general population, not necessarily car guys, but just, your average person.
What they would
say
enjoy.
Back to the Future, they're going to know a DeLorean, or, Gone in 60 Seconds, they're going to know Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
The reason the Dukes of Hazzard movie did not make that list is, I kind of thought about it, but I thought, no, most people know the General Lee for the TV series and not the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that one didn't make the list, but.
Now, we didn't have you make a list of your just top 5 most iconic cars, but just off the head, I mean, I think the General Lee would be the number 1 car for pretty much anybody, because everybody knows what it is. There's nobody, I would say 25 and older, that wouldn't recognize it without even reading the words on the top of it. They would just know what it was.
Well, you just see an orange Charger. It can be just a plain Jane orange Charger, and you think General Lee.
Yeah. What do you have then for our other list? And of the 2 lists, this is probably the more important for our listeners. This is how they're going to judge you.
More closer to home.
Corn Dog's top 5 favorite personal car movies. What is this one?
There again, it's car movies and not TV cars or movie cars or whatever. Yep. And this one here, I had 5 and 6 was a really close match. This one here was actually tough. I almost went to 7, whatever, but I had 5 and 6 for my personal.
We can have 6. Which 2 almost
for number 6
got there?
5 and 6, I'm going to call them a tie. So I had Back to the Future, 1985, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, I don't even know if you've seen this. Richard Pryor movie, Greased Lightning.
Well, I've seen the movie Grease, which has Greased Lightning.
Greased Lightning.
Is this one where he plays a NASCAR driver named Wendell Scott?
Wendell Scott, yes.
I have seen this maybe once.
I liked it, and so I've always liked Richard Pryor because he's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what made me like it so much. I saw that movie as a kid. I think it was probably like on TBS or something. I don't remember what it was, but I first saw it. I don't know what made me like it, but I just liked it. I like that. If I'm not watching a car movie and I'm just watching any other kind of movie, I love anything from like 1950, the era, not necessarily the movie made, but like the era from like 1955 and back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love, I don't know why, but like Depression era, 30s, 40s. I love movies set in that time. So I don't know really why, but.
If I recall in that one, he's not a slapstick comedian. Like he's playing a straight role.
Right. He has a few little, funny lines here and there, but he's playing more of a serious role.
Was
But it's
Wendell Scott
basically-
like the first African-American NASCAR driver or one of the few or what?
I believe he was the first, and I know he was the first to win a race. I believe he was the first African-American to actually race. I'm pretty sure of that. But of course, you think about it, it's in the Southeast, and you got all the civil rights time and all that, and so he really was not welcomed.
He blazed
had an uphill battle.
a trail that people maybe didn't want him to blaze, and good for him for doing it.
Yeah,
That's
and so
terrific.
I just always liked the story of that. And there's another one. It was the Petty story, and it's another low-budget movie, basically the same thing, but it's about Richard and Lee Petty getting into the racing. You're never going to see it win all these awards and everything, but I just always liked them because it's a car movie. It's basically a car story. So I like that. I had Grease Lightning as 6, Back to the Future as 5.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. Number 4, there again, back to my childhood, watching it over and over and over, I had Days of Thunder.
That's a kick-ass movie right there.
I love watching that. The fact that they build a NASCAR that can win a race in a barn in the of course the mid 80s, that's totally never going to happen.
That movie
looks good.
It's literally Top Gun, but you take the fighter jet out and you put in a race car. Nobody dies, like Goose doesn't die, but there is an injury that causes conflict. He has
Plenty of close calls.
Has to overcome his own fears to get back into the game and win.
Yeah.
For humanity's sake. It's the same movie. And it's an awesome movie. It's left an impact. Kyle Busch today, his nickname is Rowdy, and he'll run a black truck, number 51, and I think the mellow yellow paint scheme was even used by Kyle Petty for a while.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in many years, but as a kid, I watched it over and over and over. I just loved it.
We'll put that on our to-do list in the future. All right. What's number 3?
Number 3, I have Smokey and the Bandit, the original.
Not your favorite. Your personal favorite.
Yeah. These next two are probably going to surprise you, but Smokey and the Bandit was right on up there, pretty high in the rankings. Of course, it's number 3, so I've watched it over and over. My son, he loves to sit and watch it. And there again, it has some language in it, but he's at the point now, he doesn't really listen to what they say. He likes watching all the action.
The only complaint I have
and watch it all the time.
Is the re-released version, or the version that's publicly for sale now, and it was even in the theater last year. They redid all the automotive sound effects, and they took out the 55. What I didn't know until Mike and I reviewed Two Lane Blacktop, that the sound effects of the big block Chevy in that movie, which were real, were used in Smokey and the Bandit for the Trans Am.
Okay.
Once we reviewed that movie, and I'd never actually watched it all the way through before, I heard them like, oh, that's the Trans Am. Yeah. And then I could find the scenes where those were from even. The version that's out now, I mean, it's good. It's nowhere near, it doesn't have the rah. That's all gone. It's just replaced with like a nice sounding engine.
Oh,
and it's not as good. If you have a copy from like 10 or 15 years ago, that's the one to keep. Because the new one's nowhere near as good. Okay, what do you got at number?
I think I've actually got 2, so I need to go check the other one. Number 2 for me, and number 1 and number 2 are right there neck and neck. But number 2 for me is none other than Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. My wife hates that movie.
I'm not surprised by this. I guess I'm surprised it's not number 1. But just knowing you, I will tell you I've never seen it all the way through because I thought it was so bad. I've only seen the car chase parts.
Right there, you watched 80% of the movie for the car chase, because they start pretty early on in the Impala. From there to the rest of the movie, I even have props. You can hear.
Of course you do. Well, okay, so you got a photo of the slammed up Charger being chased by the helicopter. The helicopter's 4 feet off the ground.
Yeah, and a couple times the helicopter actually lands on the roof of the Charger. If you're into stunt driving or you like watching that kind of stuff, that's slam full of that. Here's one more for you since you're a Chevy guy. The Impala.
Sure, looking at it. Okay, the Impala just did it. Is it jumping?
They're making a getaway from the grocery store. Well, not long after the chase begins. Now, let me think. Actually, no, I can't remember. I think this was actually after the grocery store.
I can see, like, at the bottom of those, there's printing. Are those like an official behind the scenes?
Yeah, these are They're lobby cards.
Oh.
And that's what they call. They have information down here along the bottom, and it's just issued by 20th Century Fox. I have a bunch of them. I even have a wrecked police car.
No kidding. But this is not your number one movie?
No, this is not number one, but I definitely love it. I will sit down anytime and watch this movie, and it's not that long of a movie, so before you know it, it's completely over. My number one, without a doubt, is American Graffiti.
Are you kidding me? I thought this was Dukes of Hazzard. I was waiting for it the whole time. American Graffiti is your number one favorite car movie.
Without a doubt. So like I said, it was between that and Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. And American Graffiti, I probably first found that movie, I was probably 13 or 14 when I first saw a commercial for this, Saturday night movie or whatever. There again, it was probably on TBS or whatever. I don't know why we kept it on TBS for all the time, but anyways, on Friday or Saturday nights, they'd have, a movie night. And I saw the previews coming up for it, and it was American Graffiti, and I'd never seen the movie before. And I set up the VHS to record, and I recorded it, and I still actually have it. I don't ever watch it, but I still have the VHS where I recorded it off of the TV. There again, it's dated in 62. It's based in 62. But,
the era you like.
Yeah, and so it's the whole hot rodding thing. And the thing is, the whole movie is based on...
It's like the last Saturday night of the summer or something.
Yeah, and so it's like
for
late in the evening through early the next morning, and that's the whole movie is based on that one night. It has a pretty good list of celebrities, big star celebrities, kind of before their time. I guess the biggest celebrity at the time of the filming would have been Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Of course, because, he was Opie Taylor and all that. So, but you had Richard Dreyfuss, you had, of course, Harrison Ford. You had a list of big-name celebrities in it. And you had Wolfman Jack. And so I love the 32 Ford. I love the 55 Chevy, which, there again, it was also used in two-lane blacktop.
Same exact car.
And I love the 58 Impala. Ray Evernham owns the original 58 Impala.
Yeah, I did see that.
And then Brian Setzer from the old kind of a rockabilly Brian Setzer Orchestra. He owns the Mercury that the Pharaohs had that they drove around in, the Chop Top Mercury. It's candy apple red. I know for the longest time he had the car. I don't know if he still owns it, but he's a big car guy. But yeah, there's so many cars in that movie, and I just like the whole thought of let's go out and ride around all night. So.
Suzanne Summers was the girl in the white T-Bird who was like the angel. Like you only saw her once in one scene, and directed by a young guy named George Lucas who needed to make some money for his big blockbuster. And he had Harrison Ford come be the hero, actually the kind of anti-hero in that one too.
Right. That one there I can watch over and over. Between that and Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, I can watch the two of them countless times. I've seen them so many times. So
no kidding.
That's my top two.
Okay. When I did this for the radio station, I had one more list called the top 5 favorite car chases. And I did put the Dukes of Hazzard movie in that one. And my qualification wasn't that the car chase was the best car chase on the film. It was a car chase that I would purposely go watch over and over and over again just for that. Yeah. And I had the bullet one in there too, I'm sure, just for those reasons, because I'll seek that out. But
I even made a car chase list, and it's pretty much the same. It's number 1, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. Number 2, Gone in 60 Seconds, the original.
Yeah, like 45 minutes long.
Good,
yeah,
that's a good car chase. Smokey and the Bandit, Bullet, and number 5 I put as Vanishing Point, the original, not the remake, but the original. And there again, it's another. The script's probably 5 pages long because it's nothing but just driving scenes, so they don't have a whole lot of dialogue in it. So.
Totally.
But it's nothing but car chase.
Okay, you have, well, for good or for bad, laid it out there, so people can now decide whether you are the worthy of continuing to listen to. I think people will probably really like your own personal list is what it is, and nobody's is the same. But
now they wonder if I really like the Dukes of Hazzard. Well,
let's review our Christmas movie and see if there's any saving that. Bernie, you lay in some Christmas music here or something. Here is the movie we're going to review, and it's going to be a short review because this was a made-for-TV movie. This did not go to the theaters, and it was not intended to. It was always intended to air, and it did on CBS. Called Christmas Comes to Willow Creek. Original air date December 20th, 1987. written by Michael Norrell and Andy Siegel, directed by Richard Lang. I know none of those people. But it starred John Schneider and Tom Wopat and Kim Delaney.
Uh-huh.
I can give people the gist of it, but this particular movie, I can tell you, I probably have 50 emails over the last few years, if I add them all together, of people asking to review this Christmas movie.
But why?
Well, because it's Bo and Luke Duke brought together again. Is this the only on-screen post-Dukes project that they had together?
They had Smallville.
That's true, but Smallville was just
20
like
years later.
But that was like a guest one episode. Tom Wopat was in. I mean, this was a whole movie built around them.
I don't know of another TV or movie where they're both in it right off the top of my head. I'm sure there might be one or two. This is really the only one I really know of right off.
Yeah, okay. What's the gist of this one? Do you know the gist of this one?
Little small town called Willow Creek.
Yeah, Willow Creek. I couldn't think of it.
For some reason, I wanted to say Hazard, but I knew that wasn't it. But Willow Creek, Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
The whole town is basically formed around this cannery, and the cannery has shut down. So the majority of the town has lost their jobs, and so they don't know if they're going to make it or not. And Al, their friend, he's basically playing Santa, and he's getting all of these toys and everything for all the kids in Willow Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't make the trip because he becomes ill just before he's supposed to leave. And Tom and John, kind of like Bo and Luke, Tom and John were brothers and not cousins, but their dad died, or their parents died at an early age, and Al kind of took them under his wing. And they're two polar opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, what I call Luke, Tom, he's the calm, collective one, and John Schneider plays the wild, rambunctious, rebellious one.
Mm-hmm.
And so they make the trip and try to save Willow Creek.
Okay, this movie is weird.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a tough movie to get through. Maybe even more so if you're a Dukes of Hazzard fan. Because whatever they told John Schneider to do is just difficult to accept. So they clearly said, okay, you're going to be the wild one and the hot-headed one, but whatever you do, say the word man a lot. And be hip and cool and feather out your hair. Don't be Bo Duke. And it just is so thick and ham-fisted. It's tough to get through.
They both kind of do it because they're, again, on the flip side, they tell Tom, be real reserved and real calm and collective.
Yeah, don't do the right thing at the right time. Just sit there and kind of let it happen.
Like on the scene where they're in the little truck stop, like the little cafe, and then those two guys are hitting on the girls. You know, Tom and John are sitting there in the next booth over, and John gets up and he manhandles one of them, and Tom, he's just sitting there at the table and doesn't get up and do anything. And
yeah,
it was hard to get through, but I managed. And then you got a love triangle between the two of them. Tom had the girl, and then John flirts with the girl, and then wins her over, and then ends up getting her pregnant, or married, of course. And yeah, it was pretty tough.
I did not do this as well as Mike did, but I tried to write a summary.
Okay. Yours is going to be a million times better than mine, I promise you.
I'm going to read this. It did not go well. This was stream of consciousness. So here's what it says. John Schneider and Tom Wopat drive fast together and talk on the CB to save a town in need. Only they're brothers instead of cousins, and they hate each other. But they're both truck drivers, and they both work for the same guy at the same place, so what else are you going to do? They both date the same woman, though not at the same time. And they work for Al. And Al wants to send a load of Christmas presents to the town's children that he came from because that town needs Christmas cheer because the one and only employer in the known universe to this town has closed its doors. And they used to can chili, I guess. Al has a heart attack, tells Luke, you got to drive, or Bo, or Tom, one of them, he says, you got to drive this truck to Willow Creek to save Christmas for me, and you got to take Bo with you, even though you hate him. And you can't tell him what's in the front of the truck, and it's very important that he gets there. And they have to deal with that and get all the way there. And along the way, they pick up Bo's pregnant wife in Canada. She's Canadian, I think. They get to Alaska. Bo starts a chili company. Along the way, the baby is born in a snowstorm after they crash their truck. It is delivered by a shepherd in a manger on Christmas morning. The end.
To backtrack with the chili, Supposedly, John Schneider made this awesome chili that didn't quite win the award, but made it second place.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't know what he was going to do with his talent. And so it was Al's idea, basically, to send all the material to make the chili and to send John Schneider up there with it, who, of course, knows the recipe, and basically not really take over the town, but give the town something else for them to, start canning. I don't even remember what they were canning to begin with, but in the end, it was like, okay, well, here's the materials, here's the guy with the recipe, and all of y'all start canning chili now. So I guess it's a chili town.
The town has one dude in there who protests the spirit of Christmas being lost by camping out on top of a water tower and stays there until the spirit of Christmas returns. This is a bit of a side tangent in the movie. I'm not sure you would need it. I'm going to play one clip in here. This is the preview. If you used to watch TV, you'd know that movies had previews. Here's what it sounded like.
Tonight, sworn enemies thrown together. Two brothers and one woman in a cross-country race to save a town in trouble. But will they get there in time to make a very special delivery?
We got a lady on board, and she is in labor.
My stars and guardians.
John Schneider and Tom Wopat in Christmas Comes to Willow Creek tonight.
That's everything you need to know. There's one scene in here where there's a rebel flag. It's in the kid's bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Al is played by Hoyt Axton, the country singer, who was the guest country singer in Season 3, Episode 10 of The Dukes of Hazzard. His kind of famous song is the cop that's from the out-of-state Cars cop. He gets all those. Let's see here. I also had some note in here. The CB talk was welcome, I guess, at some point. I don't know that you needed it, but the overacting is so tough to get past. That's just me, I guess. I'm
right there with you.
This was on Amazon Prime, so if you're a Prime member, this is not an extra cost. You go out and watch it. I gave this 4 corn dogs, and then I threw in 4 more bonus corn dogs. 2 are for having Bo and Luke together, and 2 are for Christmas, just because. But this is not a good movie, and I'm so sorry, and we're not going to review this one again. That's my take. I don't know what your take is.
I gave it 4, and really didn't even want to give it 4. I was going to give it less, but it's Bo and Luke, but they have beards. They've got extra long hair. The scene in the at the truck stop where they got in the fight, I mean, it looked like your typical Hazard County fight,
Yeah.
John Schneider, he's kind of got that. I don't know if that's how he was trained or whatever, but it was just, he's got that two-fisted, throwing a punch, two-fist thing, or I don't know if it's supposed to be an elbow, or I don't know what it is, but he does the same thing on the Dukes of Hazzard. He kind of gets to the side and he elbows them and then punches them. It's the same Hazard County fight. The only thing I did like, when I saw Al, the guy who played Al, I knew I recognized him, and so I started looking up on his IMDb, and I saw just a laundry list of everything that he's worked with, but it's more so his musical list of soundtracks and all that. And I didn't know this, but the song Joy to the World by 3 Dog Night, he wrote that.
He did?
And, yeah, because that was the one that kept popping up more than any of them, because I saw it was on Forrest Gump. It was on a list of, and I thought, I've never seen this guy on Forrest Gump, and then I saw, okay, well, this is music. And that was one of the number 1 listings that was on most of the movie soundtracks. So I didn't know that he wrote that.
We did not have a Corn Dogs deep dive of vehicle knowledge in this, but we do have a listener writer, who sent in some notes. So he is taking your spot, and he's from Saskatchewan, and he drives semi, and he knows stuff. So we're going to call this our Canadian ham sandwich segment.
There you go.
Because I don't know what else to call it. His name is Lars. I believe it's Duke. It's spelled D-U-E-C-K. He has a longer email. I'm going to get to the movie section specifically. He says, in regards to the next movie you're planning to review, I have a few things noted I'd like to point out. I love the truck in this movie. It's an old Freightliner FLC. I'm guessing it was a brand new truck in 1987. The truck changes a bit in the movie. The fuel tanks move and the battery boxes move. Sometimes the fuel tanks are under the door and the box is behind the sleeper. And sometimes the box is under the door and the tanks are set back under the bunk. When they're in Reno, when the truck is broken down, Tom Wopat says something like, the mechanic says the problem's in the hydraulics. This is BS. The truck might have a hydraulic tank, but the trailer certainly doesn't need hydraulics because it's a reefer. a refrigerator truck. And you guys know about engines, and I don't think you'd use the term hydraulics to describe anything in the engine. A dump trailer or roll-off truck would use hydraulics to lift or tilt. Anyway, these are a few things that caught my attention. I thought I'd share my 2 cents. Overall, though, I think it's a great movie.
Cool.
So, Lars, thank you for your contribution. And I had read that email before I watched the movie. He's absolutely right. The truck does change a little bit throughout the movie, back and forth, just like generally would.
I'm surprised they actually had more than one truck.
I waited for the credits at the end. They're provided by Peterbilt of Canada, Yellowbird Trucking, something like that. But
okay,
that brings us to the conclusion of the movie and this show. Is there anything else you wanted to add about this dumpster fire?
You asked me to count. You asked me to count how many times Tom Wopat said, "Get in the truck."
Oh, that's right. What do you got?
I counted 7 times.
7 times.
He says,
"Get in the truck."
He just says, "Get in the truck." Get in the truck.
Right?
And there was 2 times that he said, "Get in."
And it's always dramatic. It's not a, "Hey, let's hop in." Get in the truck. It's always out of anger, out of direction, out of a, "Damn it, I have to solve this." One.
Just like I did in Hazard County. I got to figure out the problem.
Get in the car. Get in the truck. Well, thank you for doing the count on that. I applaud you for doing so.
You must have caught it about halfway through. It's like, you know what? I think I've heard him say that about 5 times.
I thought you were going to say the count was like 30. Like, it just seemed he was saying it over and over and over again. But you know what? In the end, we still got to see Bo and Luca on screen. So I'm all for that. I'm for more of it, too, frankly. So I've taken a new one, whatever they got. But
in 87, it was probably did pretty well, just because, they were still
very well known.
Everybody's mind.
I'm sure it would be popular today. So we should probably wrap this one out because you got to work and I got to work, and it's
raining here now. So.
I can hear it. So everybody, thank you for listening. Again, you can get the show on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play. If you want the once a month insider show, that's on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/KFshow. You can get kind of the last run of Mike Finnegan shirts at kfshowshirts.com. And I think that's everything you need to know. Corn Dog, is there anything else?
I think that's about it.
Everybody, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you maybe one more time this year and see you in the new year. Alrighty? Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Hey there, this is Rob. Up next are all of the clips that I pulled from Christmas Comes to Willow Creek. And it was just a few of them. Actually, not very many. I don't want to bag on this thing. It's not a bad movie. I think we totally forgot to mention there is a Christmas miracle at the end. The shepherd that comes to deliver the baby is actually an angel. Angel. Yes. When they wake up in the morning, the angel and the shepherd and the forest where they delivered the baby is gone. Kind of a nice little Christmas message in there. Anyway, here's all the clips back to back to back. Enjoy.
Tonight, sworn enemies thrown together. 2 brothers and 1 woman in a cross-country race to save a town in trouble. But will they get there in time to make a very special delivery?
We got a lady on board, and she is in labor.
My stars and guardians.
John Schneider and Tom Wopat in Christmas Comes to Willow Creek tonight.
Well?
Look, I love you and Al. You know that. But I can't go.
Can't you bury the hatchet with Ray? After all, you never were married to Jesse.
Just leave Jesse out of it. Besides, Ray isn't the main reason. I can handle him. The thing is, I promised Mike that I'd spend Christmas with him.
Take him along.
I'd have to handcuff him to the truck.
Pete, getting that load to Willow Creek is the most important thing in Al's life. The doctor said this was just a warning, and he's okay now. But I'm telling you, it'd kill him if that truck didn't get there. It's got to be there by Christmas, and Ray's got to be with it.
Why?
Al's got his reasons. And if it's that important to Al, it's got to be that important to the people who love him. Pete, you know that no one but you can control Ray for that long a trip. Al knows that, too. You're the only one he can depend on.
I suppose one more missed Christmas isn't going to make that much difference. Get in the truck, Ray. I said get in, Ray.
Hey, man, don't tell me what to do.
Buenas noches. My name is Domingo. I am a shepherd. I think, Senora, you need a midwife. Vengan ustedes. Come with me.
Would you look at that baby? Oh, let me hold the little darling.
Why, it can't be more than an hour old. Young lady, did you have the baby in this truck?
No, in a little house. Well, we were stuck in the storm, and a shepherd found us. Domingo, that was his name. He delivered our baby.
What little house, for goodness sake?
It couldn't have been more than 100 yards off that way through the woods.
You sure this happened around here?
We're here in Willow Creek.
Pete, you did it! You got there!
Ho, ho, ho! Where's Sabrina? It's back. It's back. It's back!
Honey, come
It's
on!
back!
I don't know.
The spirit of Christmas is back!
Dieu, Dieu, Dieu.